Good morning, America. For our viewers in the West, President Biden rejects calls to drop out, defying his critics. Overnight, President Biden fights back, rallying members of the Congressional Black Caucus, with House Democrats set to meet this morning.
Do you think he should step aside?
Plus, what the president's doctor said overnight about the Parkinson's expert visiting the White House 8 times in 8 months.
He certainly could clear this all up just by saying what he was doing here and if it was connected to the president, yes or no.
And on GMA this morning, Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer, who met with the president last week, is here live.
Beryl's wrath, the remnants of the deadly storm on the move after leaving a trail of destruction in Texas, spawning at least 13 reported tornadoes and forcing dozens of rescues. Now, how long some Texans could go without power with temperatures heating up. At least 27 states under alert. The scorcher fueling out-of-control wildfires. Ginger tracking it all.
Alec Baldwin in court as jury selection gets underway. What the judge already decided about this video.
One more.
Air scare. Passengers prepared for a hard landing after the tire fell off a Boeing jet.
New twist in the Karen Reed murder case. Her defense attorneys file a motion to dismiss 2 of the 3 charges against her.
For the first time in almost a quarter century, 2 American men are swinging into the Wimbledon quarterfinals.
Game, set, France, fantastic effort.
As Emma Navarro gets ready to take center court.
Take 2? Are Meryl, Ann, Emily, and Stanley going vogue again?
All right, everyone, gird your loins.
We know Vanessa Williams is, and she joins us this morning.
That's all.
Wait, that's not all. We're ready for...
Had to watch.
Don't miss our first look at the new arrivals at the San Diego Zoo. Strike a pose.
Live in Times Square, this is Good Morning America.
Good morning, America. We have a lot of news to get to on this Tuesday morning, including the deadly storm striking Texas. The remnants of Beryl are on the move this morning. And take a look at this storm surge in Sargent, Texas, washing out the roads. Ginger Z has much more on that in the heat in just a few moments.
First, the latest on President Biden, defiant in the face of calls to bow out of the race, even daring his potential rivals to challenge him at the convention.
This comes as there are new questions about a doctor's repeated visits to the White House. Our chief White House correspondent, Mary Bruce, starts us off. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning, Robin. Well, President Biden is digging in this morning, adamant that he has what it takes to stay in this race. He is launching a full-blown, full-throated defense of that decision, scrambling to reassure Democrats, donors, and voters that he can beat Donald Trump. This morning, President Biden is fighting back, making clear he is not leaving this race.
I am not going anywhere.
Scrambling to contain the defections on Capitol Hill, he's upping his outreach to lawmakers. Overnight, speaking with members of the Congressional Black Caucus.
The president was clear that he is in this race to win. We have one objective, and that is to win.
Hours earlier on a fundraising call, Biden promising doubting donors he can beat Donald Trump, saying his plan for their next face-off, attack. But his administration is also facing new questions about the president's health after visitor logs show a Parkinson's expert visited the White House 8 times within an 8-month span, including meeting once with the president's doctor.
Has the president been treated for Parkinson's? No. Is he being treated for Parkinson's? No, he's not. Is he taking medication for Parkinson's? No. So those are the things that I can give you full-blown answers on.
Overnight, Biden's doctor, Kevin O'Connor, explaining in a letter that this expert evaluated the president 3 times, each as part of his regular annual physical. Those results publicly released most recently in February, with Biden showing no signs of Parkinson's. O'Connor says he obtained Biden's permission to confirm those details after the White House refused to answer questions earlier in the day.
He certainly could clear this all up just by saying what he was doing here and if it was connected to the president, yes or no.
I am not going to confirm a particular neurologist, anybody.
12 days after his disastrous debate performance, the president fed up, telling Democratic lawmakers in a letter the question of how to move forward has been well aired for over a week now, and it's time for it to end. Biden aggressively rejecting calls to drop out and challenging his critics to take him on.
If any of these guys don't think I should run against me, Go ahead, announce for president. Challenge me at the convention.
While Biden stayed out of the public eye Monday, the campaign deployed the First Lady to reassure voters her husband is up to the task. Jill Biden visiting North Carolina, Georgia, and Florida all in a single day.
Joe has made it clear that he's all in.
But also making it clear she's had enough with the questions about her husband's future.
Dr. Biden, do you have any message to House Democrats who are calling for your husband to drop out of the race? How are you feeling about the state of the race?
All right, ladies. Why is she screaming? You know me. Don't scream at me.
Now, these next few days will be critical. The president will be on the world stage as he kicks off the NATO summit here in Washington today. A chance to show not just voters, but also other global leaders that he is up to this task. And then, of course, he has that big solo press conference coming up on Thursday. George, the president, well aware of just how high the stakes are here.
You will be tracking it all. Okay, Mary, thanks. Congressional Democrats back in Washington meeting this morning to discuss President Biden's candidacy and what happens next. Senior congressional correspondent Rachel Scott is on Capitol Hill. Good morning, Rachel.
George, good morning to you. In just a few hours, Democrats in both the House and the Senate will meet behind closed doors, a pivotal moment for a caucus deeply divided on the president's path forward.
Overnight, President Biden ramping up his outreach efforts to Democrats on Capitol Hill. House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries says he's with Biden.
I support President Joe Biden and the Democratic ticket. My position has not changed.
But many on Capitol Hill signaling they still have concerns about his campaign.
You said give it another week, so are you keeping an open mind?
My thing is to find out what direction that the president is going to go. He's said very clearly what he wants to do and what he will do.
What do you want to see from him?
Well, I think that basically, we'll see he's very active now and everything. That's good.
This morning, Senator Patty Murray, who served alongside Biden when he was in the Senate, writing, "We need to see a much more forceful and energetic candidate on the campaign trail in the very near future in order for him to convince voters he is up to the job." I tried to get an answer from one of the president's two home state senators, Tom Carper of Delaware.
Do you think he should step aside?
If I don't go inside, I have people waiting for me, and I'm in trouble.
It's a simple yes or no, sir.
Thank you.
Carper's office later telling us he's behind Biden. Others didn't want to talk about the president at all.
Has President Biden done enough to sort of stop concerns about his candidacy?
No comments. No comments.
At least 6 House Democrats have already called on the president to step aside, including Congressman Adam Smith of Washington. Smith taking aim at what the president told our George Stephanopoulos, that he would be okay with losing to Donald Trump as long as he gave it his all.
I think that was an incredibly arrogant comment that misses the point. When you run for office, one of the things you have to guard against is thinking that it's all about you.
Not a single Democratic senator has called on the president to step aside, and I'm told all 3 black Democratic senators joined that call between President Biden and the Congressional Black Caucus just last night. I'm told the president told them that he needs them, that he's not going to disappoint them. It's a sign the president knows he cannot lose the critical group that helped propel him to the White House 4 years ago, Michael.
Yeah, very critical group indeed. Rachel, thank you so much for that. We're going to turn now to the remnants of Hurricane Beryl. On the move this morning, still packing heavy rains and strong winds after leaving a trail of destruction in Texas. They're cleaning up from the deadly storm, which left millions without power. Victor Oquendo is in Houston. Good morning, Victor.
Good morning, Michael. Much of Houston waking up in the dark. Trees like these crashing down on homes and businesses and knocking out power. Officials warning it could take days to fully assess the damage, then restore power. Crews are on the way, but that help can't get here soon enough, with Houston under a heat advisory today. Overnight, the death toll rising after Hurricane Beryl swept into Texas as a Category 1 hurricane. Dangerous storm surge inundating parts of the coast. At least 6 people have died, including 73-year-old Maria Laredo, who was killed when a tree came crashing onto her home, and an employee with the Houston Police Department who drowned after driving through floodwaters.
We're in an emergency. We're in a rescue mode. Life safety.
Beryl dumping more than 13 inches of rain in some areas. Wind gusts near 97 miles per hour, causing widespread damage to businesses and homes. In the Houston area, 47 high water rescues. Firefighters rescued Mong Thuy, who we spoke with earlier.
The water was going up quickly and it was raining hard. Thank God they came pretty fast.
His pickup truck nearly swallowed. In Sargent Beach, devastation. Boats, campers, roofs peeled from homes, first responders and airboats doing search and rescue. trees crashing into homes across Houston, nearly 3 million customers without power at one point. In Galveston, the mayor warning it could be 2 weeks before some people get their power back. Heat index in the coming days will approach 105 degrees. President Biden telling Houston's mayor his administration will make sure Texans have all the resources they need to get through the storm. In Louisiana, a woman was also killed by a falling tree as Beryl's remnants now move to the northeast. Robin?
All right, Victor, thank you so much. We're going to bring in Ginger now with the track and timing. Good morning to you, Ginger.
Good morning to you. It is swirling over Arkansas and will make its way through Missouri. You'll see all of the flood watches in a bit. But first, let's talk tornadoes, because tornadoes are still going to be a threat. We had 13 confirmed tornadoes or reported tornadoes on this, but also had more than 110 tornado warnings. So it was extremely prolific. And I think today, even though you see the video there from near Shreveport, it's anywhere, again, from Arkansas up, Louisville's in it, Paducah, Indianapolis also in the threat, because that's where the twist is going to be enough. Tomorrow, Binghamton, Ithaca, Scranton all make their way into the tornado threat. Let's talk flooding, though, because another 2 to even 4 inches could be possible. We already saw more than a half foot around Little Rock early this morning, so they're in a flash flood warning. But those watches go up through Grand Rapids, Lansing, and Detroit. Chicago also included, because they could get enough rain as this thing wraps around. It is going to move quickly. That ends by Thursday. Then we have to talk about the heat and the fires. This is the Lake Fire. More than 21,000 acres burned. They've got it about 8% contained. The evacuations are still in place. It's going to stay super hot in most of California, Nevada, Arizona, and those excessive heat warnings just keep on going. We'll get a little break in the Pacific Northwest, but we also had those heat advisories, not just in Houston, but here in the Northeast. So a lot. This is climatologically the hottest time, but this is next level.
That is a lot of triple digits.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, Ginger, thanks. We're going to get the latest now on a new mishap with a Boeing jet. A tire fell off a United flight as it took off from Los Angeles. The incident now being investigated. Transportation correspondent Gio Benitez has the details. Good morning, Gio.
Hey, George, good morning. This is now the second time we see this in just a few months, but thankfully no one was hurt, and now the FAA is all over this one. This morning, a scare in the air caught on camera. Flight attendants heard preparing passengers for a hard landing. A tire falling off this United flight while it was taking off from Los Angeles International Airport en route to Denver Monday.
The tower called, they think that you lost a tire on the takeoff.
The pilot trying to figure out which tire it was.
Can you go ahead and try and call that tower and see if they have any reports of like what tire it would be or anything?
The Boeing 757 with 174 passengers on board landing safely in Denver as emergency vehicles rushed to get a visual of the aircraft.
We landed with a thump, but the plane was going straight down the runway. And, it felt normal.
The FAA now investigating the incident. United Airlines telling ABC News the wheel has been recovered in Los Angeles and we are investigating what caused this event. There was a similar incident in March when a tire fell off another United Boeing plane taking off in San Francisco. That tire landing in an airport parking lot, damaging several cars. The airline saying at the time it was a maintenance issue. Experts say incidents like these are rare.
Something like this is probably maintenance related. So that's why the FAA is going to want to go back and look at maintenance procedures to make sure that United is doing things the way that they ought to be done.
Meanwhile, this morning, there's another very close call to tell you about, and there's some stunning video. So take a look at this, because if you look very closely at the sky there, you can actually see 2 Delta and American regional jets. They appear to come very close together yesterday in Syracuse. Police dash cam was capturing it all. You can even see an officer looking absolutely stunned there watching it all. The FAA, of course, is now investigating this one as well, Michael.
All right, Gio, thank you. Now to Alec Baldwin on trial. Jury selection starts this morning in his involuntary manslaughter case for fatally shooting cinematographer Helena Hutchins on the set of the film Rust. Mola Lange is in Santa Fe, New Mexico for us with more. Good morning, Mola.
Well, good morning, Michael. Yeah, Alec Baldwin back in court this morning facing that felony involuntary manslaughter charge, but not before some pretty significant developments here in a pretrial hearing on Monday.
Defendant Alec Baldwin's motion in...
This morning, Alec Baldwin returning to court as jury selection in his criminal trial begins for the fatal shooting on the film set Rust nearly 3 years ago. The 66-year-old actor facing an involuntary manslaughter charge, accused of firing a prop gun he says he didn't know contained a live round, killing cinematographer Helena Hutchins.
My understanding, you were in the room when someone was
holding the gun, yeah. At a pretrial hearing Monday, the judge deciding that video evidence showing Baldwin handling the firearm can be shown to the jury.
One more.
While videos of him urging crew members to hurry up on set cannot.
Wait a minute, let's reload.
In a blow to the prosecution, the judge also ruling that the state cannot argue that Baldwin was negligent in his role as a co-producer on the film, only in his role as an actor.
Excluding the information about Alec Baldwin being a co-producer is going to hamper the state a bit, because a part of their case in chief was that he was aware of the safety deficiencies and that he was even more aware of how these actions could have led to this type of an event.
Baldwin has pleaded not guilty, insisting he never pulled the trigger in an exclusive interview with our George Stephanopoulos.
I would never point a gun at anyone and pull a trigger at them, never. Never. That was the training that I had. You don't point a gun at me and pull the trigger.
But prosecutors allege Baldwin disregarded industry rules for handling firearms on movie sets. Last March, film armorer Hannah Gutierrez was convicted of involuntary manslaughter in Hutchinson's death and sentenced to 18 months in prison. She is now appealing that conviction.
Well, this trial is scheduled to last 10 days. At this point, it's still unclear if Baldwin will ultimately take the stand during the trial and testify in his own defense. If convicted, Robin, he faces up to 18 months in prison.
All right, Mola, thank you for your reporting. We are going to turn now to the first images of the new arrivals at the San Diego Zoo. Take a look at these cuties in their new home. These panda diplomacy ambassadors, as they've been called, are the first new pandas to arrive in the U.S. in 21 years. They travel with a caretaker from China who's been working on teaching them English commands to get them ready. They arrived at the end of June and are currently in a 1-month quarantine period as they get used to their new environment before greeting the public, and the public is ready to greet them.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Just keep that picture up there for a while.
Yeah.
There's something about them. They're so cuddly.